Let's now discuss the grammatical marking of form. Traditional grammars refer to grammatical form as part of speech. For example, you have the grammatical form of word dog, which is noun, of the word bite, which is basically verb, and the word tiny, which is adjective. So you have parts of speech where you have noun, where you have verb, and where you have adjectives. Grammatical form also includes the internal structure, and that internal structure of words, phrases, and clauses have multiple other grammatical units. Now, the internal structure can be described as the possible, for example, syntax inflections, which can be, if you talk about dog, and the singular and the plural form, which is dog and dogs. Then you have possible syntactic form, which can be possessiveness, such as using the use of s as the apostrophe s, convert it to dog and dogs with the help of apostrophe s, which converts it to the possessive noun. And also you have the adjective phrases. You have small dog, or violent or wild dog. So these are the adjective phrases. Then we have the presence of grammatical distinction in a language that may increase cognitive process. Now, what we mean by grammatical distinction, the interesting example is that of Navajo, which is the American or Indian American language, where they have different type of words to be used for the objects. The verb which is used to handle the object varies with the verb that is used to handle the form or shape of the object. So in their grammar, they have different classifiers, or they classify objects in terms of the shape and the form. So these are this particular phenomena marks the grammatical distinction. And if you have this distinction in language, it increases the cognitive processes, because you have to come up with different names, different labeling, different forms, different tenses. So this is something we are now going to look at in different languages. So grammatical marking is done differently in different languages. Let's look at a study conducted by Carroll and Cascarnet. They compared Navajo and English. They observed that in Navajo, the form of the verb for handling an object varies with the form of shape of the object. The verb varies if the object is long, flexible object, such as piece of string, versus a long, rigid object, such as a stick, or maybe a flat, flexible object, such as cloth. On the basis of this grammatical distinction, Carroll and Casgarnet proposed that Navajo-speaking children would learn to discriminate the forms of objects at an earlier age than their English-speaking peers. They used an object triad test in which the child had to pick which of two objects of three presented and went best together. For example, a child might be presented with a yellow stick and a piece of blue rope of comparable size. The child would then be shown a yellow rope and asked with which of the first two it went best. Thus, it is possible to determine whether the children were focusing more on color or form. Carroll and Cascarnet compared children who spoke Navajo with children who spoke English but came from the same reservation and lived in smaller circumstances. The interesting result was that Navajo children did group the objects on the basis of form at an earlier age than the English-speaking children. Carroll and Casgarret suggested that based on this, they also tested English-speaking children in a Boston suburb and discovered that they performed similarly to the Navajo children. They speculated that certain aspects of the environment of white suburban children, such as playing with puzzles and toys, can cause an English-speaking child to attend to form at an early age. So these results seem generally to support Wolff's hypothesis that the grammatical distinctions in a language may influence cognitive processes. The observation from the suburban children is different, and according to them, the grammatical categories, although they determine the qualities of thought, but they are not the only determinants.